Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm
We're
your
in
host,
Tokyo.
Yolanda, and today we're continuing our grief series with a conversation that is deeply personal to me. As many of you know, losing my mom changed my life forever. But one of the hardest parts of grief that we rarely talk about is what happens when you're raising children while grieving the woman who raised you. How do you navigate motherhood when the person you would normally call for advice, encouragement, or support is no longer here? How do you comfort your children when they're grieving their grandmother while you're still grieving your mom? Today's conversation is for every daughter, every mother, and every woman who has ever had to be strong while carrying heartbreak. Our topic today is I needed my mom while still trying to be one. I'm honored to have a special guest joining me today, Dr. Chlaine Dixon Avant. Chlaine is the author of the Black Girl Rage Journal, the proud owner and founder of Unfiltered and Uncorked, and someone I've known for some years. We've both experienced seasons of loss, transition, and healing, and today she's sharing her story with us. Thank you so much for being here with us and just being willing to share your story with us. Can you tell us about yourself and your journey into motherhood?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having me on your show. I think that this is a very important topic that a lot of people don't talk about. Grief and motherhood, child, it's a wild ride. But as she said, my name is Dr. Chlaine. Um, yeah, we've known each other for quite a long time. It's been over 10 years at this
Yes, it
point,
has.
right?
It has.
And we've definitely walked similar paths, similar journeys, like she said. Um, I've been in the HR world for over 10 years at this point, and like she said, I've become a mother recently. My baby is a year and a half, and coming into motherhood
She's so
has
cute.
thank you. Coming into motherhood has been both beautiful and heartbreaking at the same exact time. I've had to
Yeah.
deal with love and loss in tandem, and it's definitely been a journey.
Wow. Already just so powerful, and we're just getting started. How did becoming a mother change the way that you experienced grief?
One thing that really stands out to me is grief. First of all, grief is hard as it is, but when you are a mother, you don't get to break down. You don't have the
Mm-mm.
chance to stop everything. Your life doesn't stop. Your kids don't stop because you're grieving. That's
Mm.
been one of the hardest things. And also, I don't know about you, but I don't always want my daughter to see me sad.
No.
So
Mm-mm.
I didn't feel like it was fair to her to have a grieving mom.
Yeah.
Um, but also at the same time, I knew it was important for me to try to grieve.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard.
I think that's one of the things that people don't think about is, as moms, we already have these pressure, different pressure from all angles, right? But to grieve your mom out loud, to be vulnerable, you know, to be sad, your children feel that,
Oh yeah.
right? And it's going to be met with a couple of different things. Sometimes when you're angry, your kids they most definitely feed off of your anger.
Mm-hmm.
When you're frustrated, they feed off of the frustration. When you're sad, they want to know what's wrong with mommy.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do to help? And it's just one of those situations, just so hard, to navigate and just to get through it. So I
Mm-hmm.
commend you. I want to tell you that I've been watching you for a long time. We've text, we check on each other. But I am extremely proud of you,
Thank you.
just your journey, and just how you've been able to navigate through this season. Um, Talk to us about a time where you said, I really need my mama.
Man.
I don't know what to do. I need some advice. I really need my mama. What did that feel like?
It feels like my everyday. It feels like
Mm.
my everyday. I need my mama. Um, I have plenty of examples that I can give, whether it's something small, hey, the baby has a rash. What is this? What can I do? The baby is teething. What can I do to help her get through this? Or just needing to hear that, hey, you're doing a good job from your mom. It's important to hear it from other people, but it coming from your mom,
Yeah.
it feels really different. But I one thing that I did when I was pregnant, I would, after my doctor's appointments, I would call her, let her know what's going on with her baby. And then after I gave birth, you have to go to 1,000,001 doctor's appointments shortly after
Whew.
birth.
Goodness gracious.
Child. I would call her after those appointments and let her know, like, hey, this is what's going on with the baby. And when she got sick and after she passed, I would still try to call her. And it would break my heart every single time. But last week, my daughter had an appointment, and it hit me when I got home that I didn't reach to call her. And
Wow.
I know that that's healing,
Mm-hmm.
but it also hurt at the same time because it felt like a scab being ripped off.
Mm.
Because it's like, okay, I'm happy that I'm moving forward, but
Yeah.
sometimes you don't want to move forward. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's
No,
just
I
like
get it.
you don't want to leave the feelings and leave the thoughts and leave
It's
the
that guilt.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You start feeling guilty.
Yeah. Wow. That is so crazy. I felt those same things. Like I have longed to hear my mom's ringtone. Sometimes I text my mom's phone number because I know eventually it's gonna be, recycled. But I just want to see, when I don't know. It makes me curious to see when is it's gonna be recycled. Is somebody gonna respond? You know, I don't know what it is. But we all know that it's a part of grief, right?
Yeah.
And it's so many different stages of grief that we all go through. I know one of the things that has hit me is over time is anger,
Mm-hmm.
being angry. And have you ever had a situation or a feeling or a time where you were angry and you were just confused, after dealing with the loss of your mom, also trying to be a mom yourself?
Yeah. I think that rage was one of the emotions that I felt the most.
Hmm.
First of all, I was in postpartum. My baby was almost 3 months when my mom got sick. Um, I was tired. I was nursing. I'm still trying to gain my strength back from
Yeah.
having a baby, and then this happens, right? So
Yeah.
I'm like, first of all, why? I mean, I know we all
We all have
have
to
a
go.
limited days,
Yeah.
but why? Why now? I found myself angry at God. I found myself angry at my mom for being
Yeah.
sick. I found myself angry at myself, family members, my
Hmm.
husband, anybody and everybody could get it at that point. Like that,
I
I
get
was
that.
mad. I was mad. But one thing that helped me get through this is realizing that it's okay to be mad at God sometimes and not understand why he's doing something that he's doing.
Right.
So I definitely um, leaned on limitations and I lamented. I definitely did. Sometimes I still feel a little angry, but I know that at the end of the day, God, he is guiding everything. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, God is with us. God has definitely been with me. We've been with my family. So I'm right there with you, sis. I'm right there with you. I know that your daughter is young, and I know that she didn't get as much time as you would have wanted her, to get with your mom. How have you navigated through that, and how do you keep her memory alive?
yeah, that's a great question. Um, it was difficult having my daughter in and out of the hospitals. Um, in and out of the facilities, the nursing facilities, because she was a baby with a very new immune system, right? But
Yeah.
I did make sure that my mother and her got to spend some time together. You're right. She was really young, so she doesn't have, a lot of experience with her. My mom's grandchildren they call her Mama. So she didn't
Oh.
get a lot of experience with her Mama, but I feel like the times were very, very meaningful. The
Hmm.
times that they did get to have. One way that I keep her memory alive is I'm constantly showing my daughter pictures of her,
Oh.
telling her stories. Anytime my daughter does something that reminds me of my mom, because that happens a lot, I'm like, girl, you are your mama. Like that face, that look, that attitude, that's your grandma right there. So that's how I am keeping her spirit alive, and
Yeah.
just making sure that we still are doing the same traditions that my mom did, but also introducing new traditions in our family to keep her honor and her memory alive.
Wow, wow, definitely. I feel that. I have a son. And although he's a boy, having him, and my mom is not around. I had him in January of this year, and I really feel like my mom just sprinkled some joy dust. He is the joy in our family. Like he gives us reasons to smile every single day.
Yes.
So I'm right there with you. Just, having those moments where you're like, okay, mama, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
you know, just
Mm-hmm.
helping us to find a way to move forward as much as possible. What, if any, advice would you give a young mother who is grieving the loss of their mom, grieving the loss of her mom, but also navigating it and trying to be the best version of herself to her child or children? What would be the best advice that you can give them today?
The best advice that I would give her is lean on your support system.
Hmm.
Lean on your support system. I know you're trying to be super mom. You think that you can do everything yourself, and you probably can. You have the power to,
Absolutely.
but baby, lean on your
Mm-hmm.
support system, because they are going to help you get through this. I don't know where I would be without my support system, or people just checking in on me, asking me if there's anything that I need, taking the baby for a couple of hours so I can just get some rest or some sleep or
Mm-hmm.
grieve. Because that's one thing that people don't realize is when you are grieving, life does not stop.
Surely doesn't.
Life continues to go. Your baby still needs you. You still
Mm-hmm.
have to feed them. They still are going to wake up every couple of hours. You got to change their dirty diapers. Life does
Mm-hmm.
not stop for grief. So yeah, definitely on support system.
Mm-hmm.
Grief is not linear.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you'll feel great and then you'll slip back into it. That's okay. Give
Mm-hmm.
yourself grace. And I think this is an odd one, but give yourself the space and time to melt down if you need it.
Whew. Mm-mm-mm. I'm unemployed right now, and I think I've talked about that in a few of my past episodes. But if the walls could talk at my previous employer, they would.
Oh, yeah.
There were plenty of times where I went into my office and I closed the door and I just bawled my eyes out. There were plenty of times where I bawled my eyes out to my team. I managed a team and they had to catch me from falling, but I was glad that I had the courage to be able to do that. And I was, thankful that they were there to console me when I needed it because I was barely holding on.
Yeah.
And I know you've been through, those situations and stuff like that as well. Excuse me. But I definitely want to thank you, Dr.
Yeah.
Shalane.
Of course. It was my pleasure, my honor
Yes.
to talk about something that is, again, so important in motherhood, in daughterhood, in sisterhood. So Thank you for having me.
Is there anything else that you would like to mention to my followers, to your followers? Because I know your followers are looking as well.
Yes. So, a couple things I want to mention. Be sure that you follow Real Talk Yo. Okay. Be sure that you follow her because she's got some really bomb topics that she's going to be discussing soon. So, I have the privilege of finding out some of the topics that she's going to talk about.
We had a good time.
Oh, yeah. We definitely did. Also, one thing that I would love to bring up is, if this is okay, just a little bit more about rage. So I didn't know how to channel that rage when I was going through it. So something that I did is I created a journal. Most journals, you open them up and they're about gratitude. Like, today I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
Today was
stuff.
Exactly all that flowery stuff. And sometimes that's not what we need, especially when you are grieving and you are a mom. Okay. Baby, sometimes I wanted to crash out. So that's exactly what I did. I created just a little journal, and basically, it's not a nice it's not a nice girl journal. It allows you to put your feelings and your emotions and your thoughts on paper, instead of letting it fester inside of you, and it just lets that anger go somewhere that's not inside you, right? So my husband told me, he was like, why don't you publish this? There's probably a lot of other Black women who need something like this. And at first I was like, I don't know. I don't think anybody would be interested in this. And to my surprise, we needed this. So I wanted to give you one today.
Thank you.
Yes.
Y'all, I've been wanting one, but I've been unemployed. So
so I'm going to give you this one.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Let y'all look at it. Black Girl Rage Journal.
So this is volume 2.
Ooh, I'm excited, y'all.
This one is mostly prompts. The other one is a little bit more freestyle. So it's got like trigger trackers, petty obituaries, cool down spaces, crash out boxes. This one's more prompts, but it tackles topics like grief, motherhood, relationships, former friendships, and microaggressions in the workplace. So
all of the things, right? All right, well, guys, I know y'all want more, but we are at the end of our episode, and we definitely thank you for tuning in. Thank you for just allowing your ears to hear, what we have navigated through, allowing your ears to hear our journey. And there's going to be more to come. So don't think that this is the end, even though we're, phasing out, this series about grief. It will come back up because we have a whole lot more to say. It's just the beginning. But you guys, I want you to stay tuned, and just always remember to stay true to yourself. And until next time, this is Real Talk, y'all. Thank you. Please remember to like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye.
Bye.
If your heart been heavy lately, come sit down and stay with me. We gon' hold what's hard together and still find a way to be. Real talk, yo. Say it like you mean it. Real talk, yo. We feel it, we redeem it. Real talk, yo. For the ones who need a voice. Real talk.